All right. Hello, everybody. Happy Friday afternoon. I almost forgot what day it was. I hope you guys have had a wonderful week, and I want to thank you guys for joining me for today's presentation. It is all going to be about Deskercise, so movement that you can do at your desk. And if you haven't met me before, hello. My name is Szczesniakowski, and I am your wellness tech here at the county. So before we get started, before we get into the presentation, I wanted to ask you guys a quick question, okay? So the intention of this question is not to make anybody feel bad or not to have you compare yourself to anybody else, but from the time that you wake up and then the time that you go to sleep, about how many hours a day do you think that you're sitting? This includes your commute. This includes your time at work. This includes hanging out at home, watching TV, sitting on the couch. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. That's okay as well. But just to kind of get a feel. Almost all of it, that's fair. Too many, also fair. About 9, okay. I know many of you guys work desk jobs where you have to be seated most of the day, so I definitely understand that. And we can even think about our folks who are field crew workers as well, who drive from location to location, how long they're sitting in that commute. All right. Okay, so, too many. Too many can be the consensus here. So based on that question, just to kind of be aware, even if you didn't pop an answer in the chat, I just want you to be aware of roughly what your sitting habits are like. That's all you have to be. You don't have to feel bad about them at all. Just be aware of them. So today's agenda, the impact of sitting for too long. What are movement snacks? What's the benefit of them? What's the benefit of moving just a little bit more, especially kind of in this situation? Like I said, a lot of us are sedentary and sit for work, especially. So what can we do here that's going to benefit us? How can you incorporate them into your day? And then a fun little activity at the end. So the perils of prolonged sitting. This is not to scare you at all. This is just to make you aware. This is what this presentation is meant for. I don't want to scare anybody. I just want us to bring awareness to our habits, and that's all. So weak lower body muscles. So when we sit for hours, our glutes, our hips, our hamstrings, kind of all of these lower body muscles, they don't get used, which makes sense because we're sitting. And like anything that we don't use, they start to weaken over time, which can kind of mess with our balance and stability and overall strength. Along with that kind of weak lower body muscle situation, you have tight hips, lower back pain, stiff upper body, your neck, your shoulders. And if you feel like I'm talking to you, it's okay. Prolonged sitting really shortens our hip flexors, so kind of that front area of our hips, also strains the lower back, kind of stiffens up this entire lower body because we are locked in, we are fixed in position. There's not a whole lot of movement, which is why a lot of us kind of feel, like the Tin Man at the end of our day. This is kind of a bigger one. So increased visceral fat and then decreased muscle and bone mass. So too much sitting contributes to more fat stored around our organs, which is kind of not the fat that we want if we do want to have fat. So that visceral fat is the fat around your organs. And then muscle and bone mass really start to slowly decline because we're not using it, which makes sense. And it does raise the long-term health risks that we can experience. Slower metabolism, this one is also super relevant as we get older because your metabolism will naturally slow down, which is just your body's ability to burn calories. Which we see it, maybe we're not burning as much calories as we were when we were 12 years old. It makes sense. Things slow down and it's natural. But when we do things like sit for too long, stay sedentary, we kind of don't really help that fact. So our bodies definitely burn fewer calories at rest when we sit for too long, leading to a sluggish metabolism that makes it harder to maintain weight and energy levels. So it's not just your weight, but also energy levels. Decreased blood and oxygen flow. So sitting still restricts blood flow, especially to the lower body. Again, think about it. We're not moving. nothing is moving. So it makes sense that all of these things are happening, which means less oxygen and nutrients are getting to your muscles and your brain. We're stuck. We're stuck here. Nothing is functioning as it should be, which makes it worse, kind of over a prolonged period of time. Decreased cognition, this is just a fancy way of saying that you get tired mentally. When oxygen and blood flow decrease, so does our brain power. I know you feel it at about 3 p.m. You're like, your eyes start to glaze over and you're like, okay, I have to go. I have to get up and do something. Otherwise, I just begin to kind of decay a little bit on the inside. It becomes harder to focus, process things, and also just kind of staying sharp. You may come into work with all these bright ideas first thing in the morning, but again, throughout the day and later in the evening, it's kind of like, what was that email that I sent an hour ago? So it does make that a little bit more difficult. And then this box is kind of just an overall thing. Again, I don't want this to be super scary presentation. I just want everybody to be aware that our daily lives impact our longevity. So extended sitting can impact the way our bodies function on a metabolic level. So whatever is going on the inside is impacted by what we're doing. It may reduce insulin sensitivity, contributing to a higher blood pressure, and can lead to the accumulation, like we mentioned, of visceral fat. So it's that fat around the organs. Over time, these changes can increase the risk of developing chronic conditions like cardiovascular disease, so your heart health, type 2 diabetes, and even certain cancers. And the key takeaway is that these risks are related to how our bodies respond to long-term inactivity. And incorporating regular movement, even in short bouts, helps keep our systems working just a little bit more efficiently to help prevent some of these things going on. So, what are movement snacks? Now the fun part. So essentially, movement snacks are short bursts of activity designed to help counteract all of that stuff that we literally just talked about. And I get it. Trust me, I get it. Finding the time to move during a busy workday can feel really tough, and it can feel kind of defeating as well, because you're thinking about all these things that can happen to you, right? It almost feels like you're not in control of this. It feels like these things happen to you, but it really is important to remember that this is your life. You are in control. Things will happen to you, but not everything will. You are responsible for your actions, okay? So, you can take between meetings, emails, everything else that life is going to throw at you, it is super easy to put movement on the back burner. You're like, you know what? I have 500 emails to get through. I got back from PTO or the weekend, whatever it may be. You just got back and you're like, I am not moving from this spot for 8 hours. Really? Really? Do you really want to do that after everything we just talked about? Your mind gets a little less sharp, your focus gets a little less sharp, your body, everything tenses up, stiffens up, is super uncomfortable. Do we really want to approach it like that? And here's the thing, right? Being healthy and being active, it's not about being perfect, okay? It's not all or nothing. Every stretch, every walk down the hallway to the bathroom to fill up your water, every time you stand up, it all counts. Even just a minute or two of a little bit of movement can help you feel better. You need to think of movement as a way to care for your body, not just another task on your to-do list. And sometimes it really does just be like that. You have so much going on and you're like, I have to pencil in a minute to move. Perfect. If that is what's going to work for you, do that. Everybody's going to be a little bit different. Everybody's workspace is a little bit different. Everybody's individual work culture within the county is a little bit different. You are going to have to find something that works for you. And I know that can be a little bit daunting and a little bit scary, but it's important. It's important to you, to your longevity, and everything in general. So movement is something that we get to do. It's not something that we have to do. Through all these aches and pains, and you may be swearing at your body up and down, your body is still here taking care of you, so you need to take care of it. So let's start small. Let's start reasonable. Reasonable. Is it reasonable for you to get up every single hour and move around? Maybe not. What about every 3 hours? What about every 4 hours? 4 hours is better than every 9 hours. You just have to think about what's reasonable for you. Be kind to yourself. It's important to emphasize the importance of moving, but also you do have to give yourself a little bit of grace because you will have those work days where it's like, okay, we just have to kind of put our head down, nose in the work, and that's just how it is. I know a handful of folks were working overtime the past week or so because you guys had stuff to get done. And that's just how it is sometimes. But how can you take care of yourself just a little bit during those times so that you can continue to be productive? You can continue to be efficient. So be a little kind, and we need to give our bodies the attention and care that it deserves. Benefits, kind of everything I just talked about. So improved energy levels. This is going to be a huge one, especially in the workplace. Even just a few minutes of movement can boost your energy more effectively sometimes than a cup of coffee. Sometimes you do just need that caffeine, but it just really gets your blood flowing and wakes up your body and your brain. Better posture. Movement helps fight off that slump, by reactivating the core, back muscles. We don't want to look like this throughout the day. This over time is not beneficial to us. And I think that's the key takeaway is you're going to have rough days, but let's think overtime. Let's make an effort for overtime so that we can try to prevent some of the long-term impacts of sitting for too long. Especially movement snacks. Accessibility is going to be a big one. I know we have a fitness center on site in downtown Clearwater. Is that going to be super reasonable for somebody who works at parks to come take a walk at on a 15-minute break? No, it's not. So it's not always super accessible to move, but by doing things like movement snacks, what we're going to do a little bit later, that is accessible. That is something that you can do at your desk, no equipment required, and it's for everybody. You don't need special clothes, gym, nothing like that. Just a little bit of space, especially if we decide to get a little bit crazy. We're not going to today, but just in case we do. Another benefit, enhanced heart health and muscle strength. So short bouts of activity, again, add up over time for your heart and your muscles, helping lower your risk for chronic diseases while keeping you stronger and more resilient. This is going to be a big one. Reduced pain and stiffness. So staying in one position too long causes those muscles and joints to tighten up. Movement helps loosen them up, preventing that tight, achy, stiff feeling that we don't love necessarily. And then finally, better flexibility and joint mobility kind of goes with the previous point, but just some quick stretches and movements can help improve your flexibility and keep your joints happy. It makes it a little bit easier to move throughout the day without all that discomfort. All right, we talked a little bit about kind of what's reasonable to you, right? So hopefully some of these apply to you, and if they don't, I understand. Maybe if you want to reach out to me in the wellness program and we can kind of brainstorm what's going to work best for your work situation, we can do that. You do not have to be alone ever in your health and wellness journey. You have an entire team of people here to help you. But we can try moving every hour. Set a timer for yourself. Use your watch. Even if it's just standing up for a minute or two, your body will thank you for kind of having that break after sitting for so long. For those of you who work remote and maybe not in an office, just take a lap. Take a lap around the kitchen, take a lap around the office, say hi to some people, say good morning. Take a quick second just to get up and move, helps refresh the mind again, and kind of gives everything just a nice little mini reset. Stretch break, which is kind of what we're going to do today, as well as we have Friday stretch break every Friday. We just did one. It just adds a few simple stretches into your routine. And a lot of the things that we do during these breaks, I want you to be able to take with you. As much as I love doing them with you, even if you just learn something, you're like, oh, okay, that makes my shoulder feel really good. I'm going to remember that and do it throughout the week so that I can keep these areas of my body feeling okay, just to kind of help release that tension and waking up these muscles. That's always the intention of these breaks. Standing desk, I know this is definitely not reasonable for everybody, but if you have it, use it. I know this giant thing on our desk is super annoying sometimes, but if you have it, use it. Again, it can feel like an inconvenience, but it's just kind of being thankful and mindful of the small things that we do have that can help us encourage some movement. And then habit stacking. This is probably one of my favorites. So habit stacking kind of just means linking quick movement or stretch to something that you're already doing through your workday. So, for example, you can stand and stretch every time you send an email. You're like, you know what? Okay, type in, type in, type in. This sounds very professional, polite, love it. Hit send, stand up, take a big breath, take a big stretch. We love that. Okay, sit back down and keep it going. Think about how many emails you send during the day. And now think about how many times you could stretch during the day. Beautiful. Easy opportunity. But you could also do something as silly like shoulder rolls after finishing a meeting. Again, kind of shaking it off both mentally and physically. Or take a quick walk to the printer, water fountain, bathroom, just kind of prolonging these things that you do by just a couple of extra seconds. So by pairing movement with habits you already have, it becomes easier, just a little bit easier and a little bit more convenient to add motion into your routine without needing to carve out a ton of extra time. Now, I'm not saying tell your supervisor you're going to get water and then disappear for an hour. Don't do that. But, maybe take an extra little lap around. That extra minute will be fine, most likely, most likely. All right. I just want to point out some resources. I will be sending out the slideshow to you guys so you have this as a reference. These are just some quick little YouTube videos up here that I found that I like. And then some more Pinellas County specific resources for you guys. We do have on-site group fitness classes. Again, not always super reasonable, but if you can make them, it is a great opportunity to kind of engage with everybody, pick up some cool new exercises that you can do on your own, whatever it may be, why you would want to be there. Friday stretch break, as I mentioned, every Friday at 10 a.m. Midweek movement snacks, 2:45 every Wednesday afternoon. And then super fun to announce, we do have a wellness program YouTube channel now where a ton of these recordings are going to be stored. So that is an easily accessible YouTube channel. It's going to be linked, like I said, right in the slideshow presentation whenever I send it out. But you'll be able to access things like previous Friday stretch break recordings. So maybe you're not able to make it, or it's a Tuesday and you want to do a stretch break. You can pull up a recording and use it whenever you want. And then I do just want to point out, for those of you kind of with physical discomfort that maybe you're not there yet where you're able to move comfortably and freely, if you are on the county health plan, we do have Hinge Health. It is a digital physical therapy program that kind of helps work you through your aches and pains to get you to that point of being able to move a little bit more freely. All
Sydney, do you
right.
mind if I say something about the YouTube channel?
Go for it.
Don't forget that it's an actual YouTube channel, so you can access it when you're not here, and you can also share it with your family members so that they can access it too.
Absolutely. It is for everybody at any time. So if you are super bored on a Saturday and you're like, you know what I would need right now? A stretch break, you can pull it up. Do you guys have any questions before we pop into our activity? Or anything you may want to drop in the chat before we get moving a little bit? All right. All right. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. I'm going to back all the way up. All right. This is going to be, if you had Friday stretch break with me this morning, this is going to be an extra little bit of fun. We're going to go ahead and start with just a few stretches to kind of get everything warmed up, loosened up just a little bit. We're going to go ahead, send our right arm out down to our side, and we're going to bring our left ear down towards our left shoulder. So you want to get a nice deep stretch in the right side of that neck. And you take a few big deep breaths. Good, good. Return the head back to center. Bring in that right arm. We're going to send the left arm out to the side. Bring right ear down towards right shoulder. Good. Go ahead, bring the head back center. We're going to go ahead, interlace the fingers behind the head. You're going to peel open the elbows, pushing the chest out. So we really want this big chest opener. Pinch those shoulder blades together. And then we're going to reverse this. So we're going to bring the elbows in, almost trying to touch each other, rounding through the back to open up the shoulders. We're going to do one more though. So we're going to reverse it again, peel the elbows back, push that chest out. And then reverse, bring the elbows in towards each other, rounding through the back. Go ahead and release, shake it all out, shake it all out. We're going to go ahead, a little bit of a wide leg stance here. We're going to go ahead and dig the left elbow to the inside of the left knee and open up to the right side. So we're getting this big stretch and twist on the right side of the body. If this hurts your shoulders to have your arm up here, you can go ahead and bring it down, whatever works best for you. Hold that twist. And go ahead and release, bring it back up. We're going to go the opposite side. So we're going to go ahead, dig the right elbow to the inside of the right knee, peel open the left side of this body. And if it kills your arm to have it all the way up here, you can go ahead and tuck it in kind of like a little chicken wing. Good. Go ahead and release. We're going to go ahead and grab our bands, okay? So our first movement is going to be a shoulder press. So you're going to go ahead, place about that much of the band underneath of your right foot, okay? We're sitting up nice and tall. We're going to go ahead, hold the band in the right hand. If there's too much tension on the band for you, you can go ahead and step on less of the band. So that part's adjustable depending on how you want the resistance to feel like. What we're going to do, sit up nice and tall. We're going to bring our hand right next to our shoulder, and we're going to just press upward with our right arm. Press, bring it back down. Press, back down. Press, back down. We're going to do about 2 more of these on this right side. Press, back down. 1 more. Press, and bring it back down. We're going to go ahead and switch sides. We're going to place the band under the left foot. Hold the band right here in the left hand, right next to your shoulder. And we're going to press for 5 again, okay? So press, bring it back down. Use that core so you're sitting up nice and straight. I don't need you swaying all the way over here. Press. There's 2. Bring it back down. Press. 3. Press. There's 4. We're going to do 1 more. Press straight towards the sky. And bring it back down. Good stuff. Hopefully your shoulders are feeling a little bit warm. We're going to go ahead and move into our other push muscles. So we're going to take this band. We're going to send it behind us. However you got to grab both sides, go for it. And we want the band kind of in the middle of our upper back. So right around, if you're, right around there, okay? You're going to have these 2 little pieces out to the side. I want you to go ahead, hold on to them with your knuckles facing me, okay? We're going to do a little chest press here. So your knuckles are facing me, pointing at me this whole time. We're sitting up nice and tall. You're going to push and press outwards. So you're sending your knuckles right at me. Bring it back in. Keep your elbows up. Press again. Lower. Send those knuckles right towards me. Bring them back. I'm going to turn sideways. Press. We're still sitting up nice and tall. Bring them back in. Push. Press them out. Straight arms. Then bringing them back in. Press again. We're gonna do 2 more of these, okay? Pull it back in. Press. Bring the hands back down towards you. And last one, we're gonna press, you're gonna hold it. You're gonna hold it here for a second. And then bring the hands back towards you. Awesome. Sticking with the upper body, we're gonna do a tricep extension, okay? You're gonna hold the top of the band in the right hand, and you're gonna swing it behind you. With your left hand, you're gonna go ahead and grab the band, again, kind of around that mid-back area, okay? So your band is back here, you're holding onto both ends. With the right hand, you're just going to extend up, straightening your elbow, and then bring the arm back down. If you want a little bit more resistance, pull the band down with the left hand, so it's a little bit tighter behind you. Bend at that elbow, sending the arm straight. Bring it back down. 3 more on this arm. Bend at the elbow. Bring it back down. Bend at the elbow. Bring it back down. We're going to do last one. Bend at the elbow. Bring it back down. Hopefully the underside of your arm is getting a little warm. We're going to go ahead and switch hands. Left hand at that end of the band. Swing it behind you super dramatically like that. With the right hand, go ahead and grab it around mid-back. Again, if you want more tension and resistance, you're going to pull on the band back here, making it a little bit tighter. We're going to do 5 on this arm, same thing. You're just extending at the elbow, bringing the hand back down. Extend at the elbow, bring the hand back down. Extend, bring it back down. Extend, bring it back down. 1 more, extend at that elbow, and bring it back down. Good stuff, good stuff. All right, the band can go away. We're gonna do some hip stuff and then some squats, okay? So we're gonna do some seated marches. You could also do these standing if you wanted, that's your choice. But we're gonna sit up nice and tall, and we're going to lift 1 leg at a time pretty much. So our right leg, march, back down. Left leg, march, back down. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. 1 more, left. Good stuff. Hopefully those hips are a little bit warm. We are going to go ahead and stand up, okay? If you're not super comfortable with doing a full body weight squat, you can have your chair next to you to do a chair squat, okay? Whatever you're more comfortable with. We're gonna go ahead and stand up nice and tall. I'm almost out of frame. We're gonna have our feet about shoulder width apart, and we're going to squat down. Drive through your heels, stand back up. Squat down, drive through your heels, stand back up. Even if you're not using a chair, I want you to sit back into your squat and drive back up. Sit back into your squat, drive up. We're gonna do 3 more. Sit back into your squat, drive, sit back, drive. Last one. This one's gonna be hard, okay? Sit back into your squat, hold it for 3, 2, and 1. Drive back up. Shake everything out. Shake it all out. Take a big deep breath. You guys did fantastic. I know that last one maybe got you a little bit. Hopefully it did. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit warm. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll hang out for a second.